I requested the Prime Minister to call the press conference to allow the Minister of Finance and Treasury to clarify a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation pertaining to the issue of tax exemption to a particular company that is circulated widely by the leader of the opposition in all the media outlets and in the country, including two ministers of the Crown. The name of the company is also circulated, which is very careless on the part of the media and the leader of the opposition, especially when the information relating to this issue is half-baked, misleading, and distorted to achieve political agendas, rather than the desire to properly inform the nation about national issues and the exercise of statutory powers by ministers of the Crown. What will investors think of us when we are careless about the way we disseminate privileged information about the conduct of investors? This country needs investors if we are to progress. Let's not kid ourselves with the rhetoric that we can do it ourselves. We need every player, especially investors who are willing to invest in our country. I must make it very clear that the duty to be accountable to the people of this country, by people who are entrusted with statutory powers under our parliamentary democracy, is mandatory, because such powers are exercised on behalf of the people. The government will not shy away from that. The government, in fact, has no problem whatsoever with that. And we are encouraging the media to actually do that. But we must do it responsibly. The unwritten rule in all issues that comes to the attention of anyone is there is more sides to the story than what is reported. And I don't know whether that ever come across the minds of the media. And this is exactly what happened here. The media missed nearly 90% of the story and decided only to disseminate a fraction of the story, and in the process become a party to the agenda of anyone who wants to take advantage of issues to achieve ulterior agendas. This is reckless reporting and does very little to properly inform the public on issues of national interests. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to address the media report on the exemption issued to the particular company. The leader of the opposition, together with the media, made the following allegations against the government on this matter: that the Minister of Finance granted nearly $30 million worth of exemption to the company in question in respect of building materials for wharf and warehouse upgrade project and apartment resort project. According to the report, this is irresponsible and a slap on every hard-working Solomon Islander who watched helplessly their government's revenue is being used to subsidize foreign interests. Especially so when the hospital is running out of medicine. Very powerful argument. The revenue could be used to fund government services. In fact, the report went on to attack foreign investors and then allegedly accused the government for prioritizing foreigners over Solomon Islanders, accusing them of feasting on government revenue while Solomon Islanders are struggling. And as expected, the report ends with a highly political overtone, which is clearly the motive of the report, as follows. The leader of the opposition, together with the media, then accused the Minister of Finance as being out of control and called on the Prime Minister to take control and deal with ministers who are acting against national interest to the extent of sacking them. Leader of the opposition and the media also appealed to other G-Nut members of Parliament not to be silent, because in doing so, they would be equally blamed. Leader of the opposition and the media also called on the public to demand accountability from the Prime Minister. Like I said, the report is tainted by half-truths, misinformation, and a desire to create hatred of the government and disharmony within the government with accusations of negligence of duty by people with ulterior motives. All ministers in the government, as I said, received e-copies of the order in their mobiles. I'm not surprised. We've seen that attitude before, and we see it continuing. Well, the truth about the exemption in question is as follows, ladies and gentlemen. The company in question is proposing an investment in wharf and warehousing upgrade of $40.9 million and $52.2 million in apartment and resort project. A total of nearly $94 million of investment. On the 26th of February, 2024, the former Minister of Finance granted the company in question on the recommendations of the Exemption Committee. The minister does not work alone. The Exemption Committee, after they are satisfied that the investment will contribute immensely to the development of the country. Tax and duty exemptions order numbers 0122/24 and 0125/24 were issued before the national general elections. After the formation of the government, in early May 2024, I was appointed as Minister of Finance. On taking up the post, the Exemption Committee recommended that the Minister issue new orders on the same exemption, replacing the orders mentioned above, which is reviewable every 6 months. These orders are circulated in the media by some people who are working with the opposition and the media, so it is common knowledge. These orders will expire in a couple of weeks' time, in mid-November. And that is to allow the government to review the implementation of the exemption, and that's how it works. The exemptions were hardly utilized, ladies and gentlemen. So there is very minimal loss of revenue. Very minimal. On the proposed tourist resort, the company only did backfilling on the project site and have yet to import the materials required for the resort. Some works are going on the construction of the wharf and warehouse at the Renati compound. And as noted earlier, ladies and gentlemen, the exemption was recommended by the Exemption Committee because of its strong connection to the sector highly prioritized by the government, and that is tourism. If we are to attract more tourists into the country, ladies and gentlemen, one of the critical issues we need to address is the problem of inadequate numbers of beds. We hear this from the Ministry of Tourism. The government needs investors to invest in these critical infrastructures. And as Minister of Finance, my duty is to ensure that government achieves its objective. This investment rate in Germany is right within the strategy to achieve this objective. To demonstrate government's seriousness, we will, for the first time in years, increase the Ministry of Culture and Tourism budget in 2025 to properly coordinate the development of this sector. This is how serious the government is.